So the war was brought home, and the techniques of destruction that had become involved in the fight against communist intelligence services or Nazi intelligence services overseas were, by the admission of the man who was in charge of these programs, brought home and used against the American citizens, and there is no better example of that than the language and the activity used against the so-called black nationalist hate groups, which I remind you again included such nonviolent and gentle movements as the Southern Christian Leadership Conference and the New Left.
From Washington, NPACT presents a special report on the United States Senate's investigation of the FBI. Now, here is NPACT correspondent Paul Duke.
Good evening. The Senate Intelligence Committee opened its hearings today on the domestic surveillance activities of the FBI. The session produced several shocking disclosures that the FBI may have tried to persuade civil rights leader Martin Luther King to commit suicide because it regarded King as a dangerous man, that the agency spied on a women's liberation group, believing it might be subversive in some fashion, that it freely employed the tactics of snooping, sabotage, and other forms of skullduggery in harassing civil rights, black liberation, and leftist groups. In the process, illegally tapping telephones, printing false information, using fake press credentials, even sending out phony letters to try to break up marriages. All of this came out in today's testimony, shedding a great deal of documented new light on FBI management under J. Edgar Hoover. A House committee also investigating the Bureau heard a former FBI agent testify today that the agency has now become, as he put it, a degenerate dictatorship from which public support is being rapidly withdrawn. We've long heard about the FBI in peace and war, and tonight we hear about the FBI in trouble. For the next hour, we'll show you videotaped highlights of today's 4.5 hours of Senate testimony. We'll also provide commentary by two men who have closely followed the FBI's activities. Sanford Unger, Washington editor for the Atlantic Monthly, whose book on the agency will be published soon, and Nicholas Horrock, investigative reporter for the New York Times. Today's hearing climaxed 6 months of investigation by the committee. The catalog of abuses was given by Chief Counsel F.A.O. Schwartz and Assistant Chief Counsel Kurt Smothers, who took the unusual way of sitting in the witness chair to tell what they had found. Here is how it went as Committee Chairman Frank Church began the hearing.